lady is saying, take a look at this Republican Congress member literally crying over same-sex marriage protections. Yeah, did you see this? This is amazing.
No.
Okay.
Show me.
Let me bring it up.
Congresswoman.
Yeah, she literally cries. Hold on.
Businesses who contract with the government and no protection.
So wait, let me give you the background, right? So in the United States, now we have federal law mandating this, right? So that if it's because a lot of people are worried that marriage laws are going to be recognizing gay marriage is going to go away because the Supreme Court has changed and everything, right? So the federal, now we have federal law that if you are married, like you don't have to, even if gay marriage is not legal in your state, if you as a gay couple has been married anywhere else in the U.S. where it's allowed, your state has to recognize it.
Right. Okay, good.
And because a lot of Christian politicians and everybody was hopeful that the Supreme Court is going to save the United States from all this degeneracy, this lady now cries about, like, please don't pass this. Please.
No protections for Christian businesses who contract with the government, and no protections for civil servants that justly believe marriage is just between a man and a woman. The bill's implications: submit to our ideology or be silenced. This is yet another step toward the Democrats' goal of dismantling the traditional family. No protections for Christian business, undoing our
Why is it not going?
And permanently undoing our country's God-woven foundation. This is the Democrats' priority. Well, Mr. Speaker, I'll tell you my priority. Protect religious liberty, protect people of faith, and protect Americans who believe in the true meaning of marriage. I hope and pray that my colleagues will find the courage to join me in opposing this misguided and this dangerous bill. I yield back.
Oh my God.
Look at the one on the left. She couldn't even be bothered. I mean,
oh my God.
Why do they get why do people get so fucking upset over who's doing what with who and where, like in the privacy of their home? Why did you see? This is how contradictory this. I was on Twitter Spaces and I was arguing with this Christian guy. By the way, by the end of it, I got him to say yes to abortion, albeit in certain circumstances. But yeah, he agreed. I was like, it's actually a very good argument, and I'm sure it would have been formulated like that by someone else, but I hadn't heard it from anyone. It just came to me. Anyway, so I was saying, isn't that amazing that these right-leaning people are always about liberty, like founding fathers. Yeah, then there has to be liberty. But then the whole concept of marrying religion into or getting religious value and imposing that on other people is against liberty, personal liberty. And then a lot of Christians actually say that individualism over collectivism is a Judeo-Christian value, which I heard Ben Shapiro harp on about that as well, which is like their views are so contradictory. And she quoted religious freedom as well. Yeah, religious freedom, you should have your religious freedom. You should be able to do whatever you want and practice your religion. But why are you imposing your religious values on two people who have nothing to do with your religion? That's contradictory. Where's the liberty in that? Where's the liberty? Or where is their religious or lack of religious freedom?
Well, that's what they mean by liberty. They mean their liberty to impose their values upon others.
Exactly. That's not what they're supposed to mean, though.
Yeah, but their understanding of religious liberty is that you should let us impose our ways upon people.
Is that really how they understand it?
Yeah, because every time you try to actually do liberty, they're like they say that you are not recognizing our religious liberty. So it's not a joke. That's their defense. Like, that's what she said. They're like, what about our religious liberty? So when they talk about liberty, they mean like our liberty to force this upon you. I guess. So
I don't know. And maybe you're right. Maybe, and this is probably the reason why they're always worried about people bringing in the foreign countries and taking over America, because they think they would have their religious liberty then. Then they would be imposing their religious values on us, which we don't want. Therefore, we gotta keep America Christian.
Yeah, that's why the Satanic Temple is so useful, because they have religious liberty as well. But here's the thing: this is a lot of, like, when you see this woman cry, I just want you to understand, for people who are watching, that this family, like, when we're talking about politics and society and economics and improving the well-being of society, in a brain of a conservative, everything, all of this, rest upon the bricks, which is a nuclear family, right? So there is no higher priority than saving the family from the degeneracy that is liberalism, because that is how you, in their mind, how you crumble empires. There is no force in the world that will survive if it doesn't have this brick, like this foundation of strong family values. And they, in their philosophy, they even look at previous empires and they think other empires have come down because they didn't recognize this. The strongest empires have come down, and this is what's going to happen to the United States if they don't recognize this as well. So this is why they're so they think that we miss the point. We think like they're being intolerant to gay people, but they see themselves as the saviors of everything that is wholesome and is traditional and that is good about society. That's how they see themselves.
Yeah, pretty stupid take though.
Yeah,
I mean,
it is.
But you see, but this is why these people end up, or maybe I'm just thinking, maybe is that us? Maybe we just can't see the side of the argument, because how can fully grown up people behave that way? Like, for example, Hakikatu's argument, whether or not what his intentions were, and you think that he might be smarter than that, but he knew where it's going to hurt them the most. That's why he used the honor card. But he's still hoping to sell that argument. So then he thinks that the people who are going to read that, 37,000 people or 3,500 people saw that. So he thinks that his friend or people, his followers, are stupid enough to actually buy his argument. So religious people are stupid then. I mean, they logically incredibly incoherent.
I mean, you have to be religious.
And that's coming from, and this is, I know you and I we're saying that with a straight face, but we're not saying that as a childish insult. I mean, if your worldview is so messed up that you can't even see a logical fallacy, something that if you told a kid who was 8 years old, and if you ask them three lines of the 3 layers of questions, like, oh, kid, we believe in freedom, he'd be like, okay, daddy. And then you say, kid, I'm going to impose my will on you. And if he knows what imposing will means, he'd be like, that kid is going to say, but dad, you said that I have freedom. Then I would say, no. So a kid would be able to see that this is contradictory what these people preach.
Well, do you want me to play the devil's advocate on this video?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. I want to see some sense in their arguments.
Right. So even us liberals think that for the sake of liberty, there are certain liberties that should be taken away.
Yes.
Right. So
yes.
When you believe in liberty, you cannot make everything allowed, or else basically that would be the paradox of tolerance.
Yes.
If you tolerate everything, tolerance as a whole will go away. So there are certain things which is the foundation of the society that you have to impose, and you have to make it not free for the sake of freedom. So we liberals believe that as well, right?
Yeah.
So if we liberals believe that, and that's not contradictory, we say like you cannot tolerate intolerance. For the sake of tolerance, you shouldn't tolerate intolerance. And we also talk about the paradox of tolerance. Yeah. Then why can conservatives also believe that? They're like, okay, yes, we believe in liberty, but for the sake of having a society which is functional enough to have liberty, there's certain things that need to be
imposed. I know that argument, but there's a key difference. We're minimizing taking those rights away. So they are maximizing. They're not. They're maximizing it. They're maximizing it. Okay, homosexual, no multiple marriages, no sex outside of wedlock, Now, if you look at the liberal values, you might see one or two sprinkled restrictions here and there, which would be in line with the overall philosophy. For example, being tolerant.
I mean, they say they say that they are minimizing it. They're just focusing on something else that liberals don't agree. They say actually liberals, they are, they tell you what sell this, don't sell that, don't say this. This is racist. This is bigoted. They cancel you if you don't agree with you. They say that they're tolerant, but they're not tolerant of your ideas. They're only tolerant of your skin color. Well, I mean, they can't hear.
I get your point, but I get your point. But do you think if you and I decided to write down a list of things that they would like to ban, and I as a liberal would like to ban, you think your list would be longer, or my list would be longer?
I mean, you could shorten their list if you just mention it as we're in favor of traditional family values.
Yeah,
but then you can make it. But you can make it. Yeah, you could make it look long or short depending on how you like. Hey,
no, that would be dishonesty. No, that would be dishonesty because we will. Right. I understand there'd be a set of values which is like a constitution, but when you go into the specifics of legislation, then you see books after books. But yeah, so traditional family values underneath that, underneath traditional family values, you'll have tens of things that would be contradictory.
I agree with you. I agree with you that their list would be longer. However, I think what matters is what you ban rather than how many things you ban, right? I think that the main difference, the reason why are the things that we ban, again, one fallacy they have is also that they group us liberals with woke people, right? So a lot of the things that they associate with the left-leaning people banning, it's not actually the entirety of the left. It's just a woke part of the left. The liberals are actually not trigger happy with the banning of things, right? But what we want, the main difference between us and them is that we have good arguments for what we want banned. Okay,
but they think that they have good arguments too. But I reckon but they're wrong. I reckon it does matter not what we ban, but how many things are they banning, because I think that matters.
I think the argument for what you ban is more important than.
I'll tell you why. No, because the bigger the list, the more contradictory you are in terms of pure numbers. If you're advocating for 10 things that are contradicting personal liberty, which you agree that is a good thing, but yet you are giving a long list which contradicts that, and I only have 2 or 3 things that contradict my liberty, then I win hands down. So I reckon the list matters. They can't just lump in traditional family well. Then they put everything in it: premarital sex, or women education, women empowerment. That list will get longer and longer over a period of time. And why I can say it so confidently, because we have a 2,000-year-old human Christian and Islamic history to prove that.
Right. Actually, this is a very good point that you bring up, because American conservatives have the unfortunate inconvenience for them that traditional U.S. values is liberalism, right? So they want to at the same time be traditional and conservative and also be at the favor of liberty at the same time. And these two don't really go hand in hand, right?
Libertarian values. That a lot of Republicans are libertarians. They claim they're libertarian,
but they're not. But okay, but again, you can see with their voting records that they're not. What I'm saying is that Islamic conservatives don't even have to pretend that they are in favor of liberty. You know what I mean? Like we have the American conservatives. They're like, they look like hypocrites. They're like, oh, liberty, 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 and they want to ban everything under the sun. But Islamic conservatives are like, screw liberty. Like we don't like why this constant obsession over freedom is actually why we are in a degenerate world like we are, right? So they didn't have that contradiction. To have your questions answered on the next live stream, become my patron today. You can do so with as little as $1 a month. Link in the description below.